Hey everybody, I am David, and today I want to do a fan casting video. It's been a while since I did the Lion King one. If you haven't checked that out, check it out in the description box below. I'll be sure to put a link to that video. And yeah, so I thought it would be a fun time to do another one. And what am I going to be fan casting today? I'm going to be doing Ben Affleck's Batman film. Now, to be fair, there are already some actors that are already out there picked, and I am not going to recast those ones. Whatever actors are picked that have been in this DC cinematic universe already, I'm going to leave those ones alone. But I am going to recast characters that were like in the Nolan, Schumacher, or Burton films. I'll probably add one or two sidekicks that have not appeared in those films, just because I grew up knowing them and I would like to see them somehow appear in these films. So let's get right to it. First, a little reminder on who the characters that I am not going to be recasting. Of course, there is Ben Affleck as Batman from this year's Batman v Superman. Did a phenomenal job. He will be directing, writing, and acting in his Batman solo film. Also confirmed for the Batman solo film is Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke, so that leaves him out. Also this year we got to see Jared Leto as the Joker, who I thought did a really good job. I just felt we didn't get enough of him, but hopefully maybe he'll show up in the Batman solo film, because that's what I want to see more of, Batman and Jared Leto's Joker clashing. Margot Robbie was also in Suicide Squad with Jared Leto. I think they had some really nice scenes together, and I would like to see more of that. Mr. Echo from Lost played Killer Croc. Killer Croc, if you guys don't know, you should if you're a Batman fan. Killer Croc is a major Batman villain. Maybe he's not the A-list Batman villain, but he is a major one. We also got to see Jeremy Irons this year as Alfred, Bruce Wayne's loyal butler, and I think he was one of the highlights definitely in Batman v Superman. Also confirmed to be appearing in the Justice League movie is J.K. Simmons, and obviously we can assume that he will appear in Ben Affleck's solo film. So now, with all those names out of the way, who are the characters that I'm going to be casting? Let's start off with some of these sidekicks. Starting with Dick Grayson, aka the original Robin, aka Nightwing. You know, I had to find someone obviously younger than Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, I think he was born in 1972. I looked for someone in the 80s, mid-80s, early 90s to find someone, and it took me a while, and I finally realized I think Kit Harington from Game of Thrones would be really good. Jon Snow himself, you know nothing, Jon Snow. I think he would be a really good Nightwing, and I could just see him suiting up and kicking ass alongside Ben Affleck, because he kicks a lot of ass in Game of Thrones. Of course, he's gonna go and fight crime. And did you see the way he beat the crap out of Ramsay Bolton? Of course. I think this would be a really interesting casting choice. And you know what, for the Game of Thrones actors who want to make it out to the movie, they need a good material to really get their skills out there. And I think Nightwing does have a lot of great background, especially being the sidekick of Batman at one point and then wanting to go out on his own and try to get out of Batman's shadow. I think that would be some interesting material for Kit Harington to really eat at. So that's my choice for Dick Grayson. For Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, I got, or Oracle as well, if you want to go that route, I got Rooney Mara. I'm going to admit I haven't seen a lot of movies with Rooney Mara, but I will say the movies that I have seen her in, I think she's always a great actress, always bringing her best to what she does, and I just feel that she would make a really good Barbara Gordon. Not Barbara Wilson that Alicia Silverstone played in Batman and Robin. That was a terrible interpretation. But this version, I would probably go with the Oracle version, the one who's already been shot by the Joker in the spine and in a wheelchair. I think that version of Barbara Gordon would be interesting, a little bit more interesting to see. Maybe flashbacks of her time as Batgirl. We do know that Margot Robbie is interested in making a Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie. I don't know. And if they do, Birds of Prey heavily has Oracle as one of the main characters. So Rooney Mara, I think, would fit perfectly into that. Next on my list, I have Dylan O'Brien as Tim Drake, the third Robin. That's right, we're skipping the second one. We'll save him for next. We're going to the third one, Tim Drake, Dylan O'Brien from the Maze Runner franchise, and Teen Wolf, I guess, right? I was looking for someone a little bit younger, obviously, than Kit Harington, and someone from the early 90s. I didn't want someone too young because I feel like having a kid on the team would be kind of annoying. But Dylan O'Brien has played, or at least in the Maze Runner, I don't watch Teen Wolf, but in the Maze Runner, I feel he plays this kid who's, you know, tough and wants to get out there and prove himself. And he's very smart as well. I think he would be really good as Robin, you know, as the third Robin, the third incarnation of that character, and fighting alongside Batman and Nightwing, maybe learning from them. So that's why I picked him. And some of you are probably wondering, what about Damian Wayne? I prefer Tim Drake over Damian Wayne. So I do not have Damian Wayne on this list. But if you want, I guess you can kind of put him in the Damian Wayne role also. But I'm going with Tim Drake on this one. Now, what about the second Robin? Some of you are probably wondering. Well, I have Liam Hemsworth as Jason Todd, Robin, the second Robin, or what he would be known as, since we do know that Robin was already killed. That's right, Jason Todd is the famous Robin that was killed in the comics, the second Robin, and returned as the Red Hood. I think Liam Hemsworth needs a role that's juicy for him. I think a lot of the characters he plays, it's not his fault, but I feel a lot of those characters that he plays, like in Independence Day Resurgence and the Hunger Games franchise, are lame characters, and they're just not interesting. I think if you give him a role like this, the role of the Red Hood, Jason Todd, I think there's more backstory to that character that will make him more interesting. And now that he comes back from the grave, if you will, I think it would be really interesting to see Liam Hemsworth tackle that. I think, like I said, I think he's a really capable actor. I just feel he hasn't been given that role yet, and I think something like this would be really interesting to see him in. Another anti-hero that I think should probably make their way into this franchise sooner or later is Catwoman. And as Selina Kyle Catwoman, I am picking Angelina Jolie. I wanted someone close to Ben Affleck's age, because Catwoman is that ideal girlfriend, if you will, for Batman, that ideal love interest. You know, Vicky Vale and Julie Madison and Rachel Dawes, all out the window. I don't want any of those ones to be Batman's love interest. I want it to be Catwoman. I want that flirtation, that on and off relationship, I guess, if you will. And Angelina Jolie is close enough to Ben Affleck's age. I think she's like 2 years younger. And I always thought she would make a great Catwoman. 10 years ago, I think she would have made a great Catwoman. And still to this day, I don't care how old she is, I think she would be perfect as an older Catwoman, an older Batman. Make her an anti-hero still, similar to Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, or maybe closer to Michelle Pfeiffer's. I think she would be an excellent choice. So yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see Angelina Jolie. She has that sexiness. Let her play Catwoman. As the Penguin, this one was a little bit trickier for me, because when I was thinking originally of the Penguin, I was thinking of like chubbier people, like people who are like a little overweight, like myself. Then I thought to myself, I thought about Gotham, and I thought about the Penguin is great in that show. I think that's like the first version of the Penguin that I really got invested in. And I want to see something like that. And it took me a while. I don't want to insult him, but Andy Serkis to me looks like he could play that bizarre type of character. But at the same time, he can probably have that mafia sort of feel to him. I really did like him as Ulysses Klaue in the Avengers Age of Ultron. I know he's supposed to be back in Black Panther. And we've also seen him in, The Prestige. He had that role in The Prestige as well as a servant. I think he's an underrated actor that can expend so much more without the CGI. And I think the Penguin can really help him get away from the CGI and maybe use a little bit more makeup and prosthetics. I know. So yeah, I would like to see Andy Serkis as the Penguin. I think he would be interesting. Next on my list, I have Harvey Dent, also known as Two-Face. This one was an easy pick for me. Matt Damon. Look, if you're gonna have Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, Batman, people will joke that, oh, Matt Damon should be Robin. No. Seriously, Matt Damon should be Harvey Dent, Two-Face. In the comics, in the cartoons, whatever you want to pick, even in Batman Forever and The Dark Knight, sort of, Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne have been best friends for a long time. And you get a real friendship from Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and put that on screen together in a movie, in a more dramatic film, and have them go against each other because Matt Damon gets all screwed up later by Sal Maroni. I think it would be really cool to see Matt Damon play that role, that messed up role. That was so brilliant, played by Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight. I want to see that played by Matt Damon to the next level because we know Matt Damon will bring it no matter what he's in. And putting him alongside Ben Affleck, we'll feel that chemistry and we'll feel that loss in their friendship when they, Batman has to go up against his ex-best friend. I would totally like to see them. Of course, if Matt Damon never becomes Two-Face, I would like to see him as an older Green Arrow. I think the movie's cinematic universe of Green Arrow should be played by Matt Damon if he's not Two-Face. As the Riddler, this was a choice of mine since the Dark Knight trilogy. And ever since there were rumors that Nolan was going to put the Riddler in The Dark Knight Rises after Heath Ledger had passed away. Johnny Depp as the Riddler, to me, makes perfect sense because Johnny Depp is just a great actor. Look, despite some of the movies that he's been picking in recent years, I think there's still a great actor in Johnny Depp, and I don't want him to play that over-the-top Jim Carrey type of Riddler, even though I love Jim Carrey in that role for that movie. I don't want to see that version of the Riddler anymore. I want to see the version that Batman the Animated Series gave us back in 1992. The more sophisticated Riddler, the one who's not over the top and weird and funny. I want the more sophisticated, a little bit more serious, a little bit more cocky. That's the version of the Riddler I want to see, and I think Johnny Depp can really bring that out perfectly. So that's my choice for the Riddler. As Mr. Freeze, I went with a role that I wasn't thinking of at first, but then to me it just made total sense. Idris Elba as Mr. Freeze. For those of you, some people are probably thinking, yeah, but isn't Mr. Freeze a white guy? That shouldn't really matter because when you look at who Mr. Freeze is, there's nothing in there that says anything that he has to be a specific race. He just has to be this man who lost his wife, and he becomes Mr. Freeze and wants vengeance. And I think he can play that cold, that heartless, cold person who we can have sympathy for. I think Idris Elba can play almost anything. And I would love to see him play this role. I think it would be really cool. I think he could also play Two-Face, Harvey Dent, if you don't get Matt Damon. I mean, why not? Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent back in the day. Unfortunately, he never got that chance to play Two-Face, although he will now in the Lego movie Batman. But Idris Elba, I think can play a lot of characters on this list, but I think the character I want to see him play the most is Mr. Freeze. I think there's a really interesting role there that we never got from Arnold Schwarzenegger, but could have easily got him to play it that way if they made him more like the Terminator and less like whatever he was playing. As Poison Ivy, I have Scarlett Johansson. Poison Ivy is a character who has to be the most beautiful woman on Earth, right? And beautiful woman on Earth could be a lot of actresses out there. That's fighting words in Hollywood, most likely. But this is my choice. I would have liked Keira Knightley, but I think she's too skinny. So Scarlett Johansson is just a no-brainer. Jennifer Lawrence was also there, but I feel like a lot of people are getting annoyed with her. I don't know why. I think she's a great actress. But I think she does want to get away from those comic book roles. I think she's played Mystique for too long. And even though maybe some people feel Scarlett Johansson is more associated with Black Widow and she has red hair and that too, I don't care. I think she would be great as Poison Ivy, and she could seduce men easily, man. So let's get that. Let's get Scarlett Johansson as Poison Ivy. Bane. How do you go from the version of Batman and Robin, and then you go to Tom Hardy in The Dark Knight. How do you top Tom Hardy, who's already redeemed this character? Again, Idris Elba would have been a good choice, but since I already have him as Mr. Freeze, I decided to go with one who is rumored to be playing a DC character, but I hope he doesn't. Not that one anyways, Black Adam, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I think he should play Bane. He has the physique for it, and I want to see him play a bad guy that's not in Shazam. I want to see him play a Batman villain, and I think The Rock could totally be the next Bane. Yeah, I could see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson breaking Ben Affleck's back. It's just that simple, and it would be amazing. For the Scarecrow, I thought you needed somebody intelligent because he plays around with science and fear toxins and all that, plays around with people's fears. Who would be a more believable Scarecrow to me? And I tried to get Cillian Murphy out of my head, but I couldn't for the longest time. And it came down to, I forgot who one of my other choices was, but I came down to Benedict Cumberbatch. Even though he's already Doctor Strange, I just think he would still make a good Scarecrow, I think he has... When I think of the Scarecrow, I think of that dangly kind of guy, and I think he has that physique. So, I'd like to see Benedict Cumberbatch as the Scarecrow. I think he could play that role just as perfect as he did Doctor Strange. He could play... We've seen him play the bad guy role before with Khan, and I would like to see him play a Batman villain, and the Scarecrow, I think, is the perfect one. Finally, we get down to our last two roles, Ras al Ghul and Talia, Ras al Ghul's daughter. Ras al Ghul was another one that was hard because I couldn't get that image of Liam Neeson out of my head. And so when I was trying to think of another actor, my first thought was, oh, maybe I'll just get Sean Bean. Sean Bean is kind of like Liam Neeson, maybe? No? I don't know. They both played Zeus. But then I thought, you know what? I remembered that before Batman Begins came out, there was a rumor before Liam Neeson was officially cast as Ras al Ghul that Viggo Mortensen, who played Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, he was supposed to originally play Ras al Ghul, but he passed because, from what I heard, Viggo Mortensen doesn't care about being in blockbusters. He wants to stay to those low independent films. And even though he thinks that way, I would still like to see his portrayal of Ras al Ghul. Now he's even a little bit older. I think he's around the same age that Liam Neeson played Ras al Ghul in Batman Begins. And, Viggo Mortensen's already in his 50s. Why not get him to play this character. I like to see it once. He's a more sophisticated character. You know, Ras al Ghul, he's not like your typical Batman villain. He's a Batman villain who thinks he's the good guy and he thinks he's saving the world. I want to see that from Viggo Mortensen in a Ben Affleck Batman movie. Finally, Ras al Ghul's daughter, Talia. I thought to myself, what actress can I pick? And obviously, I thought that to myself. And I went with Emily Blunt. I think Emily Blunt is a great actress. I found out she was British. And so she can pull... I think I would give Ras al Ghul the British accent. And obviously, Viggo Mortensen did that so well in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So we know he got it. And so you just give Emily Blunt her real accent, because she's from London, and there you go. There you have Ras al Ghul and Talia together, father and daughter. I think that would be an interesting combination if they ever get to be in the same movie together. We didn't get to see Liam Neeson and Talia. I forgot her name, the actress's name, the French actress. She was also in Inception. We never got to see them interact together, but I think there should be a movie where Ras al Ghul and Talia are in the same film together, interacting like father and daughter who have issues with one another. You know, that where Talia loves Batman, is in love with Bruce Wayne, and Ras al Ghul respects Bruce Wayne enough to fulfill his daughter's wishes. So I would like to see that dynamic next time if we ever see Ras al Ghul. And I want to see the real Ras al Ghul. You know, I'm glad. I love the way Liam Neeson played it. He played it like Ras al Ghul, but they didn't have that immortality aspect. And I want to see that the next time if the character is introduced in this universe. That's the version I want to see. So guys, I'm finishing this video. That was my list of my fan casting for Ben Affleck's solo Batman film. Tell me, what do you think of my list? Do you like any of the choices that I picked? And put down your own list of characters that you would like to see recasted. If you want, recast the characters that are already playing the characters in the MCU. If you don't like Ben Affleck as Batman, which I think you're insane if you do, recast him. If you don't like Jared Leto, recast him too. Cast characters that I didn't mention. You know, there's Man-Bat. There's a whole lot of other characters that are out there that we could... The Mad Hatter, you know, all of those characters. If you want to cast them too, go for it. And I guess that's it. Like this video if you like my choices. Like it even if you don't like my choices. Comment below and tell me what you guys think. And subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a huge superhero fan. And I'll try to do more fan castings because it is fun trying to think who would make a good character. And until next time, guys, I'm ending it here. And until next time, take care.